Today we're going to talk about why planning fails and how to fix it. I love talking about planning because planning is such a powerful tool, and also because I've heard from so many of you that you either do not like to plan, or you don't know how to plan, or you've tried planning and it has been excruciating, and so you've just really given up on it. So I want to fix all of that because you can change your position on planning, and you can learn how to plan. Planning is a skill and it can change your life. It's so unbelievably powerful. So that is the topic of today's Facebook Live. And if you are here in the comments, drop me the word planning in the comment and tell me, how do you feel about planning? Are you like a love it? Are you a hate it? Are you somewhere in between, lukewarm? Let me know how it's going for you. And if you are joining me on the replay, drop a hashtag replay as well. That is what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, and we have you on. Fantastic. Also, if you can tag your friends, sometimes we have a hard time people finding this video. So tag a buddy, share it out to your Facebook friends. This will help other people find this video. This is so important. This is a skill that is unbelievably important. No matter if you are decluttering or organizing or whatever you're doing in your life, if you can learn how to be a planner in a way that suits you, okay, not in like some kind of a type A kind of a way, if you're not a type A person, but if you can learn how to plan in using a style that will work with your personality, it will just really supercharge whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's why this is so important. Okay, so why does planning fail? So many of you, again, have told me that it just doesn't work. Like you've tried to make plans, you make lists, you make plans, you get planners, and maybe you have apps, and it just doesn't work. So why is this happening? I have, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 reasons, and there's probably a million more, but I have 6 of the top reasons that planning may not work for you, or why you feel that it has failed in the past. Okay, and let me know which one really stands out the most to you. The first one is there's no plan. There's no plan. You might have some wishes, you might have some thoughts about what you'd like to do, but a wish or an idea is not a plan. It's pie in the sky. So if you don't have a plan, of course, you're probably not going to get what you want. You're not going to get that wish or that idea. Like, nothing is going to happen without a plan. And the bigger your wish is, the bigger your idea is, the more important it is that you have a plan. This makes a lot of sense, but I think it's so common to just be like, oh, we'll figure that out. We'll get that done. It's something we're working on, right? If you're just working on something, but there's no plan, you're not working on it. You're not. Okay, so you have to have a plan. And any plan is better than no plan, as long as you use it within these parameters I'm going to share with you. Okay, so that's the first reason why planning fails. There's no plan. Maybe there's a dream, maybe there's a pipe dream or a wish, but that is not a plan. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, maybe you have a plan, but you don't work the plan. Okay, a plan isn't something that you write down, right? So I got my worksheets right here. This is the workbook for the Done and Dusted Planning Intensive. We are doing this, by the way, today. This is happening today, so, and a bunch of you are already registered. You can still sign up for this call if you want. And there is a replay, so if you can't make it today for whatever reason, you can go ahead and watch the replay at your convenience. But this is the plan. So we're going to work through this. We're going to fill this out on the call today together. Now, you cannot fill out your plan and then put it on the shelf and walk away and expect it to magically work. Plans don't work. We work, and we have to work our plans. And when I say work the plan, what I mean is we have to refer to it. We have to execute on it. We have to do the things on the list. And not only do we just follow the plan, but we need to be willing to be flexible for the most part. There's always going to be something that comes up. Something is going to come up. If you're making your holiday plans and you think, okay, we're going to go buy decorations on Saturday. Well, maybe Saturday rolls around and something else more important has come up. You know, maybe it's a beautiful day and you're like, I don't want to go shopping today. We're going to spend the day outside. Okay, well, so we don't throw out the plan. We don't ignore the plan, and maybe we don't follow it, but we want to know, how are we going to work this? How are we still going to get this task done, so that we can keep going on the plan and not just like abandon it, right? That's called working the plan. You're not going to execute your plan 100%. This will never happen. And so many people think, well, something came up, and then they just throw the whole plan out, right? They take the plan, they're like, oh, well, enough of that. I guess that's out the window. No, that is exactly the time when you go back to your plan and you make adjustments and you make tweaks and you course correct so that you can keep going where you want to go. Can you imagine, like, I like to use the idea of taking a cross-country trip. Let's say you're in a plane, right? And the pilot has taken off and he has his flight plan, 100%, right? You know, you're going from point A to point B. But there's wind and there's turbulence, and maybe there's, you know, I don't know, air traffic control radios in and they're like, you need to reroute a little bit. You need to go around this particular city. The pilot is constantly correcting course. He doesn't throw out the plan, but he's also willing to work his plan so that he can get to the place that he needs to go or she needs to go, right? That's called working the plan. And that is where plans come to life, right? You got to have a plan, and then you got to work the plan. The other thing that people do, maybe they are willing to work the plan, but then they just totally throw it out, right? They bail. They're like, oh, it's not working, and they get overwhelmed. And then they decide, okay, we're just giving up on this. It's too far gone. We're too far off course, and we're just going to forget it. No. Don't do that to yourself. Just get back on course. It's totally fine. Maybe the plane arrives a little late. No big deal, right? Maybe it takes you 2 days to get wherever you're going instead of 1. You still got there. And isn't it better to get to your destination than not? Of course it is. Okay, so that's the second reason. Reason number 3 that plans fail, or that planning fails, is that you have an unrealistic plan. Now, sometimes when we're making plans, we have all these wonderful ideas, and it's so exciting. So exciting to think of the possibilities, right? I love planning. But sometimes when we make plans, we come up with plans that are just, it's like the best case scenario. Like, if everything is perfect, and if the whole household stays healthy, and if there's no pandemic, and if I have tons of energy, and if everyone is cooperative, then here's what we will do, right? Well, maybe that happens, but probably not. And so we don't want to make plans that are so outside the realm of possibility that there's just no way. Like, that's just setting yourself up to fail. So you want to keep your needs in mind. You want to keep your energy level. You want to keep your, you know, all of your situation, your circumstances in mind when you're making plans. Like, make plans that are going to serve you, not plans that you're going to hate later on, right? We need to keep that in mind. And I like to go big with plans, right? So make a really big, exciting plan, and then you can look at it, and that's part of planning. You can look at the plan and you think, you know, I think we need some more time for this part, or maybe we really don't want to do this other thing. Like, let's eliminate 1 step out of 3 here. You know, we don't really have to do that, but these other 2 are really important, right? That is part of the planning process, and part of how we take care of ourselves in making plans that are going to serve us, and that are, I don't even want to say reasonable, because maybe some of the things that you are planning are not reasonable. So I don't want you to necessarily limit yourself to what's reasonable, because who wants to do that? Like, I don't want a reasonable success. I want really exciting and big success, but I also want to do it in a way that is going to serve me. Okay, so you want to make realistic plans. Number 4, this is a really big one. Let me know if my feed keeps freezing. Hopefully it's cooperating now. Let me know, you guys, is the video okay here? Hopefully it's going to cooperate. Number 4 is that if you have made plans over time, you want to learn as you go. You want to take how the last plan went and you want to learn from it. Were you right on? Was it just right? If it was just right, maybe you want to go bigger next time. But maybe it wasn't just right. Maybe you had to make a lot of tweaks. Maybe it was you didn't give yourself enough time. If that's the case, what are we going to take from that plan that maybe you're like, well, that was like a C minus, the way that plan worked out. How do we make that one a B minus this time around? What can we take from, plan A and apply that learning and that knowledge next time we plan? We don't want to make it just like, well, I suck at planning. Like I just can't do that. That's not a useful lesson. That's not learning, that's just beating yourself up. So we want to make sure that we're taking, the last plan that you made and all of the experience that you've had and using that in your current plan, in your next plan. How are you going to change the way you plan based on the experiences that you've already had? And your plans can get better and better and better over time, right? You will iterate on them if you're paying attention, and you'll find that you hit the mark more and more and more, and then you can plan bigger, and that's super fun, right? Okay. Okay, love planning. Robin says, not a big fan for some reason. I do lists for shopping. Well, a shopping list is absolutely a plan. Lynn says, I'm definitely a planner, need to get better at implementing. Diane says, planning, my lists have lists and nothing gets done. Okay, yeah, I hear you. Okay, B minus. Yeah, B minus, C minus, it's all relative, for sure. Hard to stick to plans. Yeah, Aline, we're going to be going over that. Hopefully you can make the done and dusted call tonight, because I know you're in the membership, so hopefully you can make that or catch the replay, because we're going to go deep into it, and I'm going to show you how to do it in a way that that isn't painful. Really, really, really. Okay, because the way most people plan is they set themselves up for failure, and we don't want that. Okay, number 5. This is a big one. Let's say you're making a plan. Let's say you're on board. You're like, yes, I will work the plan. I'm ready to work the plan. Your plan is realistic, and you've learned from what's going on in the past, but you don't have any accountability. You have to have accountability, right? If there's no accountability, then it's like, oh well, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, right? And that's not going to get you where you want to go. You want to have some accountability built in. Now, how do you get accountability? Lots of ways to get accountability. You can work with a buddy. Right? If you are in our membership, you probably have one or more decluttering buddies. Tell them what you want to do. Say, hey, hold me accountable. This weekend, I'm doing this and this and this. And I'm gonna, I want you to ask me on Sunday, did I get it done? That will light a fire like nothing else. If you know that other people are going to check in with you and ask you how did it go, that will be so much easier for you to get up and go when it's time to do those tasks. That accountability is unbelievably powerful. Our brains want to be consistent. So if we say out loud in public, or to another person, I will do XYZ, then you're probably 100 times more likely to do it. Maybe, I don't know, I just picked that number out of the air, but it's so much easier to find the energy to do something if you've made a statement, okay? Another way to find accountability is you promise yourself, and you're like, no matter what, I'm gonna do this. And you hold yourself accountable. And the more you hold yourself accountable, the better you get at it. Now, if you're not used to doing that, you might want external accountability because maybe you're not used to showing up for yourself, but you really want to get to that point where you're like, you know what, I can count on myself. It's like making a promise to someone I really, really care about. If you promise someone, whatever, your partner, your child, your best friend, you say, I will do this, I promise you. That is a commitment, and you're going to want to keep that. It's going to be really, really strong for you, and you want to get to the point where you promise yourself, and then you keep that commitment, and that is how you can have your own back. All right, it's really important. Really, really want accountability. And then the last thing on my list, Accountability buddy works. Yes. The last thing on my list is people pleasing. And this is a little bit of a departure, but this is what sabotages plans so many times. Can you guys relate to this? You know, you've got your plan, you're like, okay, done and dusted, I've got my plan, you've got your calendar, it's all filled out. And then someone comes to you and they say, I really need your help. We'd really like you to do this with us, or this fun thing is happening and you really have to come along with us. You always do. And you think, oh man, how can I say no? I have I'm supposed to be doing this, but I really hate to say no. This person's going to be disappointed, or maybe they're going to be mad at me. Like that whole people pleasing thing can, if you allow it to, it can totally sabotage your plans. And then what are you left with? And you're like, oh crap, now what? Right. So what do you do if this is a struggle for you? Now, let me back up and tell you that people pleasing is definitely a struggle for me too. So I totally get it. I think I have improved a whole lot in terms of the people pleasing area of my personality, but I get it because we want to do things for other people. We want to be helpful. We want to be kind, all of those kinds of things. But we don't want to do it at our own expense. That is the difference, right? So you can say yes to someone and with the knowledge that it's going to require you to change your plan, but you don't want to do it at your own expense. And you want to do it on purpose, right? And you want to like your reason. So don't say yes to someone because they're going to get mad at you if you say no. That's a terrible, I think that's a bad reason, right? I would prefer that you say yes to someone because you want to do that thing, right? If you do things out of obligation, if you're doing things because you're afraid of how that other person's going to react, that is going to lead to resentment. It's going to lead to bitterness. You're going to be mad at them. You're going to be mad at yourself. And that doesn't really line up with doing something nice for somebody, does it? Not so much. So be aware of that people-pleasing urge, that temptation to people please. And honestly, sometimes all you have to do is just pause. Just take a pause. Someone makes a request of you. Can you do X, Y, Z? And you don't answer immediately. You say, what? I need to think about that. I hear you. You want me to whatever. I need to get back to you, right? And then you can take your time. You can look at your plan, all right? Work in the plan. You can look at your plan. And then you can get back to them with an answer that is well thought out, right? And is not like just a spur of the moment, like rushed decision. I find it so much easier to have a well thought out decision if I just pause, right? So like I try to build that in anytime someone's making a request of me. Like I don't want to answer right away. And you can get used to that. And then it's easier to say no if that's what you want to do. All right. If you are in the membership, we do have this whole course on this, right? It's the relationships course, so make sure you take a look at that if you haven't already. We have a section on people pleasing, and that alone can change your life if you learn how to say no when you want to say no instead of saying yes, just because, right? Feels yucky every single time, I promise you. Okay. All right. So done and dusted planning workshop happening today. OMH, you're getting in for free, right? If you're a member with us, you already get this call for free. You do not have to register. You're just going to go, there's a post in the membership group with all the details. If you're not a member, you can join this call with us. It's just $37 to join the call. You're going to get the workbook. You're going to get the call. You'll get the replay. You can come on and ask questions. We're going to have so much fun. And we're going to plan out the rest of the year, the holiday season, so that you can do all those things that you want to do without going into panic mode, without procrastination, without like all the perfectionism that is so paralyzing, right? We're going to cover all of that, and it's happening today. Today is Thursday. If you're watching this on Thursday, it's happening today. If it's no longer the 27th, then you can always purchase and catch the replay. All right, that's what I have for you all today. I'll see you tomorrow, and go make some plans. All right, you guys, take care.